Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming out on this beautiful afternoon to 5th District Park in Avenel. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of the best town around, which is Woodbridge Township. I'm going to introduce everybody behind me one at a time as they get up to speak. But first, let me tell you why we're here. Next to us is a 25-acre site, the former General Dynamics chemical plant, which was recently demolished, which was great for Avenel and great for Woodbridge Township. In its place will be a 500-unit apartment complex right on the train, a transit village, the kind of development that will bring in commuters, people likely to have one car for every two people likely to be commuters, and it's going to have 50,000 square feet of retail space with an arch theme, so it's ultimately going to be known as the Avenel Arts Center at Station Village. It's going to be a fantastic development. We go way back to when we first took office in late 2006. We started having meetings with the owner at the time. We looked at all different options for that site. It could have been an office building. Of course, then people would have had 10 stories in their backyard, and they wouldn't have had to turn the light on at night. They could read by the lights from an office building. It could have been another chemical plant, which certainly wouldn't have been good. It could have been a warehouse with trucks coming and going all hours of the night, plus the employees. That wouldn't have been good. And it could have been a retail strip mall, Costco-type place. Again, trucks all hours of the night, people in and out, traffic nightmare. That wouldn't have been good. So we settled on an apartment complex, and what's significant there is the apartment, the fact that it's residential means it had to be cleaned to the highest possible standard. They couldn't leave what was contaminating the ground in the ground. They have to excavate it, and they're doing that now. If it was an office building, a warehouse, a chemical plant, a strip mall, they could have capped over it, kept all the bad stuff in the ground, and gone on their way. That was not acceptable to us because we wanted to remove the source of the contamination from the site, and ultimately the groundwater will get cleaner and cleaner, and it'll be better for everybody. So we all settled on a residential development. We had several meetings, probably 8 to 10 meetings with residents over the last several years, and now we finally got the demolition done, was about 2 months ago. It was a great day watching those buildings come down, just fantastic for the residents of Avenel. But today we're here for the next step in the project, which is the announcement of a very significant investment by the County of Middlesex Board of Chosen Freeholders in this project. This is a multi-million dollar project. The Arts Center, we basically made that a part of the development with the subsequent buyers, which is Atlantic Realty, and they agreed to build this Arts Center. The County of Middlesex last year put a question on the ballot asking people if they supported the arts from both an operating standpoint and a capital standpoint. The voters of Middlesex voted yes overwhelmingly. And then the county freeholders solicited input from the different towns and who wanted to take advantage of this pot of money. Naturally, we jumped right on it, knowing we have this investment here. We thought we could help out the developers and build an even bigger, better facility here. So the County of Middlesex, through the Freeholder Board, has given Woodbridge a $6 million grant payable over the next several years that will be put toward the development of that Arts Center. That is a huge, huge commitment of money. This is the same board that about 5 or 6 years ago gave us $6.5 million to protect Colonia Country Club from development. That could have been 1,500 units of apartments, not near a train, would have had a very detrimental impact on the township, would have brought a lot of kids into the school, unlike a transit village, which won't bring a lot of kids into the school because they'll be commuters, they'll live in these units for a couple of years until they have kids, and they'll probably move on by the time the kids go to kindergarten. We're hoping they stay in Woodbridge. But anyway, the Freeholder Board has been fantastic to Woodbridge Township. Many years ago, under Frank Pelsman, former mayor, the board gave us, I think, $4 million to buy Pin Oak Forest, 97 acres of beautiful land there. The board gave us money to buy land on Harold Avenue, protected from development, Elizabeth Avenue in Island. So many things this Freeholder Board has done for the Township of Woodbridge, and they deserve our utmost thanks and our utmost support. Now I'd like to call on their leader, a young man who started his life in Woodbridge Township in Port Reading, mistakenly moved out of town, but I think he wishes he could come back someday. We'd love to have him back someday. Ladies and gentlemen, our Middlesex County Freeholder Board Director, the great Ronnie Rios.
Wow, what an introduction. My wife don't give me an introduction like that. But, you know, I'm really happy to be here today. And first, let me introduce my colleagues on the board. Freeholder Ken Armwood from Piscataway. And our very own from Woodbridge, Freeholder Charlie Kenny. And we're really excited to be here today and that this area will be transformed to include an art center that will be able to adapt to the needs of local and visiting artists. The space will showcase visual and performing arts, music, art education, recording, rehearsal, theater, cultural history. What we're most excited about is the fact that we're able to contribute $6 million for this project. And through the Middlesex County Cultural Arts Trust Fund. As the mayor said, we had the question on the ballot last year, and because we felt that arts is something that's important, it's been not supported federally, statewide, through grants. Those grants have been cut back through the years, and we felt that it's important that we recognize that, and we gave that opportunity to the voters to ask them, pick their brains and see if they were supportive of the idea. And it was supported overwhelmingly, so we reallocated some funds to this way we could create this fund to give it to Woodbridge, and also 2 other towns that we gave it to were Carteret, my hometown now, and New Brunswick. And the Freeholder Board has always encouraged the people of Middlesex County to communicate their aspirations for the county. We received an overwhelming response last year, and we felt that it was important that we follow their lead. So based on this response, we created what is called the Trust Fund, and I'm happy to say that Woodbridge has taken the steps under the leadership of Mayor McCormick and the council to support ideas like this and support venues for the arts. It's important that we teach our children how important the arts are, whether it be through theater and singing and dancing. And it's always nice to see that this priority continues through different towns and, of course, here in Woodbridge. So we also aim to use the fund to encourage and support arts education and program for county residents. The fund also supports projects and programs whose purpose is to recognize and preserve the history of Middlesex County, and that's also through our veterans organizations and veterans, and letting our students know, our children know, the important role that the veterans have made on the difference in Woodbridge Township, in Middlesex County, and throughout the great United States. And that was one thing that I have to say when we were coming up with this Cultural Arts Trust Fund idea. What were we going to include in there? How were we going to do this and frame this? And your very own Freeholder Charlie Kenny said, we need to recognize the veterans, the role that they played on the history and the arts here in Middlesex County, and of course Woodbridge here. So I'd like to thank him for pushing that effort as well. And the Avenel Arts Center at Station Village is one of 3, like I said, between Carteret's doing an art district, and in New Brunswick is going to transform a lot of the theater district that they have now. And these projects will open up so many opportunities, and it's all about opportunities, educating our youth, letting them know what's available, what's out there, and for their endeavors. And so we're proud to be part of this evolution, and I see this Arts Trust Fund going really far throughout the county. And of course our freeholders really support these ideas, and it's going to really flourish. So together we can help the Avenel Arts Center to grow into a place where we'll educate our children and bring new understanding of the art and history to its patrons, and Avenel standing strong. Again, I want to say thank you for Woodbridge and the mayor for making this a priority here in Woodbridge Township, because without their leadership, these programs would not flourish. So together as a team, we can make great things happen, and this is one example of how great things can happen. May God bless you. May God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Director Rios. You know, I got involved with this town back on January 1st, 1992, and we always had great representation on the Middlesex County Freeholder Board in the form of the late, great Pete Delina. After Pete passed, we worked hard to try to keep a freeholder seat in Woodbridge. We are tied with Edison basically for the largest towns in the county. and we wanted to make sure we had a voice, and a voice as good as Pete Delina's, and we found that voice in First Ward Councilman Charlie Kenny. He's done a fantastic job since he's been there. He's widely recognized for the way he hit the ground running, for the questions he asks, for the things he gets involved in, with the way he handles himself. He's done a fantastic job so far on the board representing Middlesex County. I'd like to ask Charlie now to say a few words.
I just said nothing like getting caught cold here. This is a wonderful event. I'm glad to be a part of it. When the mayor came into office, he had a vision for the arts. And with Kara Ehrlich and himself, they worked together, and the administration and the council, to put together a vision in downtown Main Street to bring the arts to downtown Main Street. And this is just an extension of that vision, because they knew, and as we've seen as it has moved along, that the arts also brings in, is tied to economics, and it helps to boost the businesses and bring money into your town, especially if you're located, as we are, along the train, with a station here in Avenel and a station in Woodbridge. So it's just a continuing effort, and as we've seen, as the director has said, we looked around the county. We saw that the arts are very important to the economic vitality of many towns. And so last year, under the director's leadership, we put a question on the ballot. The people spoke, and this is our first step towards moving money into these projects. So this way, the towns can see an economic boost, and also revitalize brownfields like this, which has been going on here in Woodbridge Township. Brownfield revitalization since I was on the council, whether it be out in Caseby, in Seawarren, here in Avenel. It's an attempt to bring back property that's underpaying on taxes, to put them back on the tax rolls so that you get the right amount of money out of them. So this is a fantastic effort in bringing those two together and having this project. So I just want to thank the mayor. I want to thank my colleagues on the Freeholder Board for being a part of this. We also have out there, as part of our question last year, small grants, so that little programs that want to be put on can apply to the county for grants. We didn't want to just see it go to just big projects. We want to see small projects, big projects, medium projects. So it's a all-out effort by the county and the towns in Middlesex County to push this arts referendum. So I thank you all, and Mayor, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Kenny. When you sit behind me on stage, you have to realize you could be next. So be prepared. Speaking of that, I'd like to ask another freeholder who's always in Woodbridge, always around, generally hangs, it's Kenny Armwood, Charlie Kenny. There's Charlie Tamaro. It gets confusing with all these names on the Freeholder Board, but Kenny Armwood hails from Piscataway. Like Charlie, he's relatively new on the board, but he hit the ground running, and he's very much a supporter of not just the arts, but also of Woodbridge Township. I want to ask Kenny Armwood to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say first that I was the first person to be at this event. I've been here 2 weeks ago. I came before anybody else came because I had the wrong date. So I knew exactly how to get here, and the mayor's right. I'm in Woodbridge a lot. In fact, I could have stayed here for those 2 weeks. But this is what good government is all about. This is what the people expect from government. When you hear about shutdowns on the federal and state level, we don't do that here in Middlesex County. Not only is the mayor a leader here in Woodbridge, he's a leader throughout the county, and it takes leadership like that and vision like that in order to have revitalization projects that the county can fund. I'm proud to stand with my colleagues, Ron Rios and Charlie Kenny and the rest of the freeholders in supporting Woodbridge in this endeavor. This will be great for not only Woodbridge, this is going to be great for the entire county. So I just want to say thank you to Mayor McCormick and the town council here in Woodbridge for having the vision to come up with a project like this that makes it easy for us to fund it and support it with the taxpayers' money. So thank you, Woodbridge, thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the town council.
Thank you, Kenny. I want to mention our former councilwoman, Michelle Sharmello. She joined the council 4 years ago in a special election. We met a couple of years before that at an event, and she was into the arts, and she was very instrumental in working with us as a council person. When you're the mayor in a town like Woodbridge, just about everything you do, you need the support of the council, or you can't do it. It's very much a checks and balances. And Michelle did a fantastic job. She helped with the Woodbridge Artisan Guild. We started a shop on Fulton Street and moved to Main Street. All these canvases and all these kids painting. You see this 3 times a week on Main Street. Exactly what you see here, a packed house with kids painting and people painting. That's because of Michelle's leadership. So she moved to Pittsburgh in August. She gave up her seat to get a better job out there, and also a boy. You know, you follow I don't know why these girls keep following boys around and men around, but she moved out there with her boyfriend, and she's doing great, having a great time out there. But I want to mention Michelle because her leadership for the past 4 years has been tremendous with this project. So thank you to Michelle Sharmello. And now a young man who I met actually back in early 2007. Not only when I became mayor in late 06, I got involved, of course, met all the firemen, and he's very, very involved with the Avenel Fire Department. But he also lives right down the street. And when we started having the meetings, Corey Spiller was a very active participant in those meetings. He's got a wife and 3 great young kids, so he was very, very concerned with what would happen in this site, which is just about in his backyard. And we talked to Corey, we talked to a lot of people, had a lot of house parties, a lot of house meetings, and as I said, quite a few public meetings. But Corey was here from the very beginning, wanted to know everything that was going on, wanted to give his opinions. He talked to his neighbors. He became a very early supporter of the concept of a residential project because of what it would mean to the cleanup and the fact that all the dirty, contaminated soil was going to be gone, and it will be gone in a few months. Corey was very much an advocate back then, working with Michelle. In August, he took over for Michelle on August 4th. He joined the town council. He's hit the ground running. He's Energizer Bunny. He's all over the place. Today he was at half dozen events like we were. He started at the firehouse for Fire Prevention Day. Then he was over at Parker Press Park. Now he's here, and he's going more places later. I'm really very proud that Corey Spiller has joined this town council. He's a tireless worker. So I'd now like to ask Corey to say a few words.
Good afternoon. I'd first like to thank the mayor, Carolyn Ehrlich, Redevelopment Agency, and the administration. As the mayor said, I've been involved with the meeting since day one, and they both assured me that this was going to happen. And I'm not going to lie, I said to myself, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, and they said it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in a great way. It's going to be everything that we want it to be. We've listened to the residents, some of their concerns, some of their complaints. We've met everything. So once again, thank you. As the councilman for this ward, I'd like to express my gratitude and thanks to the county freeholders. What this $6 million is going to do for the Avenel Arts Center is just fantastic. It's a beautiful day. Kids are playing. We got crafts. Enjoy. Thanks again.
We're also joined by 5th Ward Councilwoman Debbie Meehan. And for our last speaker is the woman who actually had the idea to make this an arts-themed development. Now, when you're the mayor, you get credit for all the great ideas in town, even when they're not yours. And when I tell you that most of the ideas that come out of this administration are not mine, I'm not kidding. I've got a great team of people. I should introduce Vito Samaluka from the head of Recreation. John Haggerty is our communications director. Beth Schreier is our computer IT person. Just many of the Woodbridge people here. So I get credit for a lot of ideas. And like I said, usually they really are not mine. The idea to make this an arts-themed development was Carolyn Ehrlich's, because she knew she reads everything, every government magazine that comes out, everything around she reads and she learns and she sees what's going on in other towns. And she knew that with the train station, the arts was a natural. So we brought out to those meetings, we started an arts committee. And as a result of the Arts Committee, we have the Woodbridge Community Youth Players for the play group. We have the New Horizons Band. We have the Woodbridge Artisan Guild. We have the concerts, because Bill Brandenburg went to one of those first meetings and brought out the Eclectic Wednesday concerts. Now it's Country Sunday. So many things have happened off those early meetings in 2007, and they were Carol Ehrlich's idea. Not only was it her idea, but now she has managed this project with the Halperins, and she goes to meetings weekly, monthly, is on top of everything. This was not easy because the prior owners, frankly, didn't have the savvy or the wherewithal to develop the project the way it needed to be developed. It took years because the economy kind of tanked in 2008, and nothing happened from 08 to 13. Nothing happened anywhere in the state. But we were ready, and we knew when the economy broke, we'd be ready to jump in with this project. We stayed on top of it. Finally, the old owners sold to the new owners, and things started to happen. Carol's the reason for the last couple of years that things have moved the way they did. She knows everything about demolition. She knows everything about construction. Things I'll never know, she knows because she's on top of this project and she'll be watching it all the way through. Actually, I will take credit for the art mural idea. So it's a $100 million project that Carol gets credit for, but I have the art mural. And the art mural's beautiful. Who doesn't think that's a gorgeous art mural? Absolutely beautiful. We had Kimberly Zadigan and Rachel Rotella were the two teachers from Woodbridge and JFK, and they supervised a whole bunch of kids. It's gorgeous. Next year, the other side's going to be done in a nice green, and half of it's going to be farm animals and half of it's going to be zoo animals, which I think is going to be great because I like the whole concept of Mommy, I look at the whale, Mommy, look at the tiger, Mommy, look at the lion, whatever. I think that's great. So anyway, that's my idea. A little bit of paint is my idea. $100 million project, arts-themed village. And thanks to Jeff Mayerowitz, he helps supervise that project. I didn't see Jeff in the audience. Jeff works for the mayor's office. Thank you, Jeff. So the whole idea of bringing the arts to town is Carol Ehrlich's. I'd like to now ask her to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. I probably am the most excited person here today because I've been waiting for this moment. My hope, though, is that everybody here, everybody all throughout the town of Avenel becomes as excited about this project as I am, because this is the best thing. When we first started working on this site, I didn't see it as an old, contaminated factory. I saw it as an opportunity to make something happen for the people of Avenel. When I was on the council, I would go door to door throughout the town. They all knew me as the council person that knocked on doors whether I was running or not. I loved walking in Avenel. The people in Avenel I just felt were so special. And I say this sincerely. They were always the most open, the warmest. The neighborhoods, everybody knew everybody else. Everybody was friends. The only problem with Avenel was it didn't have a place. There was no place for people to go other than to stand down in the front lawn and talk to each other. No place to go to meet each other, to have fun together. And I really felt that this was an opportunity to give something to the wonderful people of Avenel. And so we worked, as the mayor said, we tried to figure out what would be the best thing. How do we create that place? And that became the idea of an arts village. Because arts villages create something, there's things for you to do, there'll be food, there'll be a cafe, there'll be ice cream. You could come home from work at the end of the day, take a walk, have an ice cream cone, see your friends, see your neighbors, maybe there'll be a concert going on, whatever, you'll just have a great time. The Arts Center the center itself is going to be a flex building, so it could be dance, it could be music, it's not going to be too big, it's like maybe going to be able to fit like 150 seats, so it's not going to be a crazy art center that you have to worry about cars parking in your neighborhood. It fits right there. And it's going to be so wonderful for the wonderful people of Avenel, and I'm so honored to be able to have played a part in making this happen. And I'm really happy to see our first artists at the Avenel Arts Village. So let's give all of our artists a big hand. You're doing a great job, too. And so many thanks to the freeholders, because they had the big vision. You know, I can have visions, but I don't have money. So you need the money to make this happen, and this $6 million is really going to help us build a beautiful art center. So thank you very much.
I just want to close by saying thank you also to the people of Avenel. Back in early 2007, I was mayor for a few months. We were here only 4 or 5 months by the time we had our first meeting on this. Many of you didn't know me. We asked you to trust us. We asked you to take a leap of faith and realize that we were doing the best thing for the residents of Avenel and the residents of Woodbridge Township as a whole. And I know there's people out there that didn't think we were doing the right thing. And I'm not going to mention names, but there was people that were not quite sure we were doing the right thing. And they challenged us. Many of the people challenged us, made us defend our decisions, made us explain why. As I said, we went to meeting after meeting, always to talk about what we thought was the vision for this site. And I think the people now that might have doubted us in the past are here now in support of this project. versus all the other alternatives, this made the most sense for this site. As Carol said, it's going to revitalize Avenel. It's going to give it a downtown. You've already seen what's happened. I mean, you see the investment that Hank Incognito made in Avenel Pharmacy. I don't think he makes that kind of investment unless he knows he's got 500 units of people with high incomes coming to his town right down the road. You see the investment in the other corner, which was really, really ugly, and Frank Zappia came in and put in some apartments with some retail downstairs, and it's a very nice development that will open soon. I don't think he does that if there's not this development coming up here. On Route 1, just on the other side, you see Wawa come in, knock down the Gem Motel, Mom's Diner, and an old gas station that hasn't served gas in 50 years. Probably the last time Mom gave you eggs, the gas station gave you gas, and it was probably 1960. That's all gone now. There's Wawa. Across the street from the firehouse, and the other corner is going to be Quick Check with gas, knocking down some other buildings in that corner. Right next to the Holiday Inn Express, there was what basically was nothing more than a junkyard, 3 or 4 old buildings, some lousy-looking apartments and storage, and little cars and trucks parked there. That was all knocked down this week to make way for future development. So Avenel is getting a true makeover around the corner here. The developmental center, which unfortunately closed, we're going to work with that to develop that into some kind of health-related, active adult kind of community. Across from that's the prison warden site. We're putting some disabled people that used to be at the state school, we call it the state school, but the developmental center. So we have a lot going on in Avenel. I would venture to say that for every 100 hours we work, 50 of them are in Avenel right here, because there's so much going on in this town. None of it would happen if this was still an abandoned chemical plant for the last 20 plus years. None of that would have happened. Not Avenel Pharmacy, not Wawa, nothing else would have happened, but for the fact that this was going to be redeveloped. So thank you for trusting us. Thank you for believing us. Thank you for challenging us, because we should be challenged. We should be brought to task, and we should be made to defend our decisions. You did that. I just hope you all believe now that, like we believe, that this was the right thing to do. So thank you for that. And now let's take a few pictures with a giant check. Okay, let's eat.
All right. Can't cash it today. The bank's closed.